files, but this changes, really disrupts the whole mobile e-commerce. And the thing with NFC is it's a contactless, you know, it's really touch and save, or that's the tagline that they're doing, where, so in conjunction with Google Wallet, being able to use them at this different merchants, they've done a whole Google offers. And what that is your you know, couponing type merchants can, you know, push coupons. If you have your search results in Google, if it's a certain, let's say they wanted to, they had, what they have, Old Navy, and they had Target and Subway. If they had coupons, you could be able to push that to your Google Offers app. And then in there, you'd have like 20%, let's say 20% off a donut or something. So when you're at Tim Hortons and you were gonna pay, I guess all these apps work really well together. They've gelled them together so that it'll apply your coupon, it'll do the process payment. As long as you've provisioned a credit card onto, you know, either the Google prepaid card or this, I think they're gonna add different credit cards later on that you can put into this digital thing.
And the people on the stream are asking, what's Tim Hortons?
Tim Hortons, yeah. I'm just saying that, you know, you're going to get a coupon and you can apply these coupons to your, and this is literally in seconds. You take your device and you tap it to the PayPass, and, you know, the whole transaction will go through. So, you know, there's a lot of people in this industry dealing with this. There's the carriers, you have the hardware manufacturers, you have, you know, there's a lot of different players. The software developers, obviously, you know, they have to tie up. There's a lot of code. NFC's not, you know, I don't think it's probably an intermediate kind of topic type thing. There's a lot of frequencies, a lot of back-end code that you have to make sure, a lot of tokens. There's a lot of authentication. Google Wallet has a very extensive security layer built in. You actually tie it into your Google account, so that's one layer. The NFC chip itself is a physical chip on the device, and that's actually secure. It's tamper-proof, so you can't really undo it, kind of play with it. They won't let you hack into it. And then there's another layer of a PIN. So you have to have a 4-digit PIN when you actually buy something. So that's, you know, that's showing. At I/O, they had a full video, you know, or not, sorry, not at I/O, at recently last week. It's about an hour long. You can check it out on YouTube. They posted it up there, and it's real exciting. There's you know, a lot of stuff going on in this mobile e-commerce. You know, they're saying that the next few years the percentages that are just going to be huge, because, you know, they're trying to redefine the user experience when you buy things. So you know, if you can have, you know, a lot of your content, people trust. I saw a survey or a stats where just from 2 years ago, how many people were buying things on the internet, you know, like general e-commerce, that number has blown up. I think it's like 64, some 65% of people trust buying things on the internet. Well, now with, you know, billions of these smartphones and devices, Google's activating 400,000 devices every day. So there's lots of devices. We saw lots of stuff. So lots of tablets, lots of smartphones, lots of other devices. So once these, you know, devices start getting the, you know, NFC, and, you know, it's really going to change the user experience. So I'm excited.
Yeah. Cool. So that's our development news for the night. We can't wait to get into the game development here. So the way we're doing this, and what kind of Greg said at the beginning, is we've talked about TwitHouse before on the show. If you haven't seen TwitHouse, we got a nice picture of it here. Where's TwitHouse? So TwitHouse, that I have up on my screen, is our tablet Twitter client that currently isn't released. It's in a private beta.
Real soon, real soon. And
we've been talking about it for a while.
We are bad. You know, we've taken a lot of months, but you have to trust us when we say that we put a lot of work into this. Okay, a lot of hours, and there are, you know, unforeseen, you know, going from Gingerbread, going to 3.0, going from the tablets, you know, it's been quite the journey. So we've got a lot of new features. We're going to talk about some of these new features that we've done, but we're real excited. We're really close. We're just finishing up small little bugs that, you know, annoy us, you know, so it's not ready to distribute, you know, to the masses, but when we're ready, we are going to put it in the market. it is going to be a paid app, you know, no booze, calm down, a few dollars. The only apps that we've developed that we've actually charged for ended up being those live wallpapers, you know, and that was $1. So, you know, we've done a lot of free apps. We've done other apps for other people. So we're excited to, you know, all the work that we've done. We want to release TwitHouse. Charge a couple dollars, and
it's worth the money when you see the added value. And we're actually about to demo right now one of the new features. Greg's going to show it. We just want to make sure quickly here that the screen shows our tablet device here. How are we doing, James? We're good. We can see it perfect. Awesome. Okay, so. If you actually just want to start the game. So what we have here is a new, no one's ever really done this before, this is completely new. This is a game based off Twitter. So this is called TwitHouse Invaders, based off Space Invaders. And as you can see Greg playing it now, it's actually, I'll pass one around to our in-studio audience. You basically are shooting your friends from Twitter, their avatars, right? And the whole idea is that you have to protect your TwitHouse. So I'm going to pass this around.
So, you know, we've took the basic, a basic game, and we've incorporated, online data from Twitter. Twitter gives you great APIs, and we've, taken a lot of their avatars and put them in nice little alien things. And we've added a couple mechanics. And what you can see now that if any of the aliens get to your fortress, your little TwitHouse...
Greg's about to lose.
I know. So I lose because they attacked my... And we have little bombs. We have a couple little extra little...
Yeah, I'm going to go through all the things that are included in the game here. And just, it's really cool that you can kind of, interact with this Twitter data in a new way. And we kind of took it to heart when Twitter put out that message that, hey, we don't want, regular clients out there. Use the data in a very unique way. We think this is totally unique.
Right.
And there's going to be more games. We have a kind of connect the dots between who you think said what. We have can you identify your friends by their avatars. But TwitHouse Invaders is really the cool game that we're showing today. Just, nice 2D game. I'm going to show how to build the whole thing. And so I'm going to get right into the code here, and so let's get started. So the code is downloadable. I actually put the link up right on the home page of the Coding Green Robots website.
Oh, oops.
Thanks, Greg. So there's a download URL right there for it. So you can download the code. You won't be able to compile it, unfortunately, because just for reasons that we didn't want to give out the entire TwitHouse app to everyone, all the code to it. But all the Java code there is there for the app. So let's start things off by showing you the layout I've created. So I do have an XML file for this. And I'm not going to be doing too much stuff with the XML today. Like we normally do, we build a lot of XML files for the apps we've shown. This one, I'm actually going to be doing a lot of stuff on a class called Canvas. And so in our very first pilot episode, we talked a lot about Canvas. Yep. And this is actually drawing stuff in real time using shapes, using bitmaps, and you can actually animate stuff. How I'm going to show you by the use of a thread that's constantly running. So I do have one XML file here on screen, which is just our basic layout for the game. You can see I have a straight black space here, and that space is what's going to hold our canvas. Okay, and so I'm going to refer to that later. I gave it a name. It's here, so we called that game holder, right? And so it's just going to hold the game. It's just a simple layout. It's a relative layout. Could have been a linear layout. Doesn't matter. It's just we needed a space to hold the canvas. And then above there we have a back button so you can exit the game. We also got the TwitHouse logo. So that's just kind of like our little enclosure for the app. So that's not really the fun part. The fun part starts when we start having to think about our game in terms of how we want to build it. So when you're thinking about a game, you want to start thinking of classes and building things that are going to be in your game, such as I'm going to show you classes for the aliens, I'm going to show you classes for the lasers that you're shooting, there's a class for the Space Invaders spaceship. So let's start things off with the actual spaceship. Okay? So this is going to be a basic class here. I'm not extending any other class. This is just a completely custom class here called Invader Spaceship. So I start off by declaring all my variables up at the top. And so I have to think about what this spaceship is actually going to hold, what data it needs to hold. So obviously we know our spaceship is going to need an image. Okay? So that's first and foremost. We know it's going to have to display something. So I create a variable of a bitmap. Then I also add a rectangle, okay, which is a very nice class I found out about. I didn't know about it a couple months ago, but I found it's great for holding 4 different points. Basically, all rectangle does is it holds 4 different points. Your left point, I can't zoom in. Let me try it. Just want to zoom in on the code here. Okay, give me 2 seconds. Greg, you need to entertain them.
Okay, so when we thought of building this 2D app, we didn't want to make it very complex. Just a few assets, and Matt was talking about the collision detection. There's the data behind it. There's the movement, all the buttons, all the controllers. So he really thought about how to separate the app into different classes and build the functionality for it. So
okay, so we're good here. Now I can zoom in on the code. Awesome. So yeah, I was talking about the rectangle class. So it's just spelled R-E-C-T. You can find that on the Android developers website. You can check out. It's got really nice methods in there to hold 4 different points, as I was saying: left, top, right, and bottom. So it'll hold all 4 points that encompass your rectangle. That rectangle actually is going to hold the spaceship. And it's also going to be able to tell us about collision detection. It has really nice methods to say, hey, is this point within the rectangle? It just kind of simplifies your code a lot. So definitely check out the rectangle class. Then I've got a nice simple float in there for the velocity, which is a fancy word for speed. And that's just how fast our spaceship moves from left to right. I declared a final static variable up at the top for velocity, just so I can easily change the velocity across the whole class. And you can see I put 0.3 there for the velocity. And what that means is that you'll see the method where I actually use the velocity, and it'll make a lot more sense. But in simple terms, 0.3 just means that it moves 0.3 pixels a millisecond. That's how fast I want the spaceship to be able to move. Okay? I've got some booleans in here for whether the spaceship is moving to the left or moving to the right, which you'll see why I need those later. And then I've also got the left maximum, how far the spaceship can move to the left and how far it can move to the right. And that's just going to be used so that our spaceship doesn't actually go off the screen, which obviously makes sense. So now that we got all our variables declared, we can talk about what methods need to be included in this spaceship class. We first need to start off with a constructor. The constructor is the, not exactly method, we can kind of refer to it as a method that we call when we first create the object to initialize it. And we need to give it some certain values so that, like for example, we need to tell it, hey, what image it's going to show. We need to tell it where we want it to be displayed on the screen. So let's start off here. You can see it takes 4 parameters up at the top. And that is, it's going to require a context. That context is only going to be used to render the bitmap image. I have the screen width, the screen height. So those are just passed so that I can know, the maximums, the left and the right of how far it can go. And also, I just wanted to know the top of the twit house. Let's actually take a look at the game once more. So we have the top of the house here. And I just want to know the top of the house so I can put the spaceship right above that. Okay? So those are the 4 values I figured the app would need to start it off, to initialize it. And so what I do with those values is I initialize the velocity with that static variable I declared at the top. Just initialize the moving booleans to false. And then now for the left maximum,